Was I wheezing or was I just breathing? Because I do tend to wheeze.
You're alive.
You wheeze and you just kind of breathe loudly into the mic. Like that.
Don't do that.
Okay, well, how about if I
it's a breeze,
if I use my inhaler on the air? How about that sound?
We've already started the segment. We started about 20 seconds ago.
I had no idea.
And Greg Cody has been asked by the producers who regulate sound around
By his
here
son.
and his son to just be careful about the sounds that he makes at the microphone. And his response was, okay, I'll never breathe again. I will stop breathing.
No. In Greg's defense, Chris said, can you try not to breathe?
As much.
His father is annoying him because his father does not care about the mechanics of doing any of this. His father is actively breathing too heavy into the microphone. The Sueys last week, you don't even know if the sounds. That is you.
Sounded like an ocean wave.
That is you. They just keep playing sound of you during one of the previous segments. You're breathing into the microphone, coughing. That is all the way we're going to introduce the Sueys that are going on this week from last week, and this is Best Revelations.
And now, the Suey nominees for Best Revelation. David Sampson reveals his hate for dogs was caused by his parents' divorce.
It is my recollection that my parents got divorced because the dog that we had when I was a child took a crap in the living room, and my dad yelled at my mom and then left her. That was the story that I was always believed is why they got divorced. I had a dog named Spartacus, who was a Labrador retriever, a big dog that I would snuggle with and cuddle with, and the dog was the cause of my parents' divorce. And since then, I have refused to in any way engage with dogs. I was told after, when I got older, I was assured by both my mother and my father that, in fact, the dog crapping in the living room had nothing to do with the divorce. However, I still did not believe it because my recollection, and I was 4, was yelling, screaming, doors slamming, and then that's it.
Tony Kaladiud reveals Mike Ryan's extremely sad lunch.
I know Mike wasn't eating, and there was a time that we all got Mexican, and they brought a whole bunch of trays of like queso and cheese and fajitas and like tacos stuff. And then Mike walks in and is like, wow, this is a great spread. Walks over to where the fixins
Your mouth is watering as you describe the cheese from
you
Lime.
felt that, right? Yeah, I felt it too. So all of a sudden, Mike grabs a bowl, and I'm like, oh, finally, he's going to eat. I haven't seen Mike eat in like 6 weeks.
We were happy he was just going to eat something.
Yes. And then what he does is he picks up a bowl that has a shard of lime in it, and then he squeezes the lime into his mouth. And it's like, that's lunch. Thank you, guys. And he actually went back for seconds and got a second lime and also squeezed it in his mouth and then threw it away. And that was lunch.
You just wanted flavor?
Yeah, I eat limes. I like a tart flavor profile.
Andrew Whitworth reveals when he knew he was done playing.
Here's what happened. I went in the living room. I'm watching NFL on a Sunday. You know, obviously we're on Thursday nights. So I'm home for the weekends. And my son Michael's playing defensive end in his little 11-year-old league. I'm like, hey, let's take a couple. He gets off one time, and I literally wasn't in a good position for my son to get off the ball. And I was like, you know what? I can't do it. My knee literally never moved. I was like, I thought I moved, but my feet never moved, and I was like, you're done. You're absolutely done.
You got beat by your kid.
Michael Lee torched me.
Your 11-year-old might have altered NFL history, depending on the team that you were considering.
There's no doubt. He definitely torched me.
Bert Kreischer reveals that Dan Le Batard was the reason Bert's podcast with Bill Burr ended.
The podcast with Bill Burr. That wasn't really. No, that wasn't. That was you. No, because it didn't. What is that? Why it ended? That can't be why it ended, Bert.
I wish I'm going to take. I wish I could say.
So you're serious? You invite me on, and we blindside Bill Burr during a barbecue, and he was mad about it, and that's it? It ended a popular podcast?
I thought it would go so much better. He was, you know what's so funny is it was the second to last time I've spoken to Bill.
Oh, no.
Wow. Ended a friendship. Oh, my God.
And so I haven't, and so I think it was probably more, I don't know what happened.
Bert, I went in knowing do not provoke Bill Burr, do not provoke a comedian. It will go very poorly for you. I spent the entire interview backpedaling, but he got very angry off the top about the idea that Boston might have some racist tendencies.
He was extremely ornery.
But isn't he always?
It was a side of Bill. Like I've known Bill for a long time. I've been friends with Bill for probably 20 years, 20 plus years. I'll always be friends with Bill. We have not talked in a while, but I'll always be friends with Bill. I love Bill. I respect him. But man, that was a ornery interview. Like I think what was happening was he was grilling out with his family and forgot that we had a podcast. And so when he came in and had to miss the grillings, I think that's what's happened. I don't know exactly, but I know that I was in Serbia. I kept cutting out and I'd come back in and hello.
That was Roy walking into the room. I stopped you dead. I don't know why Bert
walked in like Bobby Shmurda in a prison shower.
Brian Scalabrini reveals that he used to beat Jimmy Butler one-on-one back in Chicago.
Me and Jimmy Butler, we used to play one-on-one all the time his rookie year when I was in Chicago. And I would beat him. Take that for data.
What did you tell Jimmy Butler when you were giving him that work his rookie year?
Too little, you're too young. You need to listen to some hard rap because that country music ain't working for you. Like I go to Derrick Rose and say, D Rose, this dude can't help you. If he can't beat me, he ain't helping you.
David Sampson reveals the Marlins would mess with the radar gun for pitchers.
We definitely played with the radar gun.
No, that's not true.
However, the best example of it is that we lowered it for Brad Penny. Because Brad Penny was a pitcher we had, part of the World Series, and what he did in his delivery is he would throw the ball, and on his follow-through, he would be turning around to look at the radar gun. And all he cared about back then, it was 96, 97. That was amazing. Forget the 101, 102. So we would change the radar gun, and he would come off, and he'd be so pissed off. He's like, that was not 93. Brad, it does not matter. It doesn't matter. Just get people out. Stop looking at the radar gun.
Greg Cody reveals how him and his wife started dating.
I'm pretty sure both of my parents had significant others, girlfriend, boyfriends, and when they met each other, they just both needed to leave their significant others for each other.
That is correct.
Wow.
Who cheated the worst, you or mom?
I don't want to get into
one of you
that
was
kind of a
cheating.
detail. No, I don't want to get into
Were you both dating at the time?
Yeah, we were both in serious relationships.
What a
Couple of
tawdry,
cheaters cutting it up.
a tawdry began with a tawdry affair. Was there deceit at the beginning? Was there betrayal at the beginning on both ends of serious committed relationships?
Possible that happened.
And weren't, Dad, you were the big-time sports writer at the school, right? Like, Mom left hers because it was like, I got a shot with Greg Cody here.
She was, she worked on the newspaper in layout.
Yeah, she did.
And we met, and it was love at first
You were
sight.
the trophy husband? You were the big catch on campus?
Believe it or not, yeah.
Which ex was most upset afterwards? Your ex or Mom's ex?
I think mine. We fell out of a relationship. David Sampson reveals the Marlins would hire people to stand in the walk-up ticket lines.
We would hire people to stand online for the photo op on day one.
Wait, what?
Oh, hell yeah. Bring donuts.
You hired extras?
Ringers. Everybody
How?
downstairs
You planted
online.
an audience.
Who would ever do that? It's all about how's it going to look.
Greg Cody, swingers cruise revelation.
Can we talk about your cruise? You went on an adults-only cruise, Greg.
Whoa.
A Virgin Voyage.
Have you ever been on one?
Baby.
Started out a Virgin
I have
Voyage.
never. Hey. I have never been on an adult cruise.
Wait,
I've been on a disco cruise.
I was gonna say, Dad, didn't you go on some didn't you go on
I
some
like that,
70s
Yes,
disco
it was a
that
disco
I took
cruise.
to mean a swingers cruise?
Well,
You went on a swingers cruise?
what are we talking
Wait, hold on a second. You went on a swingers cruise?
I mean, when the boat is rocking, don't come knocking. Am I right? Come on now. I'm just saying. No, it was a disco cruise.
That kind of thing.
What were your rules?
And you know it. Yeah.
What were your rules?
There are no rules, just
Safe
right.
word?
No.
Wow, Outback.
No, there's no rules. Jeff Passen reveals where he was practicing his fake Elmo.
I tried it at the ballpark, and I'm like, oh, God, this is not going to go well.
Who did you try it on? Who did you try it on? It's
I
a
want to
great
paint the
question.
picture
It's
of
a
you
great
in the
question.
ballpark doing
You're
your
at the
Elmo.
World
You and Bob
Baseball
Nightingale.
Classic.
This is a true story. You guys have been to the Marlins Park press box,
Yes.
right? You know, like when you're walking in the hallway toward the press box, there are 2 solo bathrooms.
Good acoustics.
I went into the corner of a bathroom and did it
By yourself. is this gonna work? Like insecure Elmo talking in a bathroom mirror,
kind of whispering.
Mike Ryan reveals the one celebrity to reject his cameo request.
It's the first time I've submitted for a cameo and got a phone call from the camp of the person that was denying my request. I requested Dave Wanstatt to do a 90-second promo on why the big game should be considered by the Recording Academy for Best Musical Theater Album.
That would have been funny.
And I had, because of like the weird Mario Cristobal plugged-in coaches search contacts that I've made, I got a phone call from someone that was actually with a very confused Dave Wanstatt, who I heard in the background in his very distinguishable accent asking what the heck. He didn't want to embarrass himself, and he thought that we were making a joke of him. And I tried to explain in excruciating detail what I was going for. He still passed at the opportunity.
Mike Shore reveals what Donald Trump got him as a wedding gift.
A good friend of my in-laws at the time was a New York real estate mogul named Donald Trump. He later would go on to be the president of the United States. So we get in the mail, my wife and I, a giant box from the Trumps that said, and we're like, oh my God, this is the wedding gift. Like, this is amazing. What did Donald Trump get us for a wedding gift? And we pull it out, and I'll show it to you. It's this vase.
Wow. But wait, there's more.
I believe it is the ugliest object I've ever seen. It's certainly the ugliest object I own. So we're trying to theorize, and there's no note, there's no piece of paper that says, like, here's what this is or anything. So I'm like, what is the story here? I formulate a theory. The theory that I formulate is that it is overflow decoration from one of his casinos. Like, he bought 5,000 identical $12 vases to go into like the Atlantic City casino. And I was like, right, like imagine you're walking down a hotel corridor in a casino, cheap casino hotel, and there's like stanchions all along the walls, right? And like every 10 feet, there's like a vase like that looks fake fancy, right? Maybe I'll bet that's what this is. And as I'm formulating that theory, I look and I turn it around and look at the back. There's nothing on the back. So clearly, it's designed to just face out like this. And he's so cheap that they didn't even, he was like, no, don't paint the back. The back's going to face the wall of the casino.
Izzy Gutierrez reveals he got circumcised his freshman year of college.
The reason I was urinating so poorly is that just about a few days earlier during Christmas break, I had decided to get a circumcision.
Oh.
Whoa. As an 18-year-old.
Whoa.
I was one of those people who grew up Latin kid, uncut, and then I didn't like it so much. And maybe now that I'm circling back, maybe that comes back to my shy bladder thing. And that was one of those situations where it was absolutely embarrassing and frankly painful, but I could not say why.
Peter King, weed revelations.
It came up earlier this week. What animal would you want to get high with?
A panda.
Really? Wow.
That's an excellent answer. Excellent answer.
It's like you had that answer your entire life.
Wouldn't you just love to sort of lay all over a panda?
Yes.
And just,
yes.
And
Well,
just,
Peter, we didn't
think
say
about the meaning of life with a panda.
Yeah, but why am I laying on the panda after I get high? I mean,
I appreciate the thoughtful answer.
Yeah.
Well, look, I haven't been high in 100 years, but when I used to, I think it would have been a lot of fun. I did once, though, you guys would be surprised to know. This would have been in 1978 in Athens, Ohio, when I was a senior at Ohio University.
Right.
I once did a doobie with the Doobie Brothers.
No way.
I did.
Awesome.
You guys are blown away. Your mind is blown.
Very nice.
Swingers cruise, huh?
Swingers cruise, please. Kidding me? Why did you even think it was a swingers cruise? It's a disco cruise.
I know. I know what you guys did on there.
Well, I mean,
some necking.
Exactly, necking. I like it. A couple of land sharks in honor of Jimmy. A little necking. It's a better way to do it than that.
We like Miller Lite here, though.
That's true. We do prefer Miller Lite day in, day out. But on a special occasion...
This is the new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.